Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rachel's Reviews. And we're so excited today. We are here to preview the summer box office. I know you might feel like it's spring. It's not even Easter yet when we're recording this. But nevertheless, we're already in summer movie mode. And we're here to talk about these movies and what we think will be we think will be the top 10, our predictions. And then, of course, at the end of the summer, we will evaluate our predictions, see how we did. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner. David Rosen's here.
Hey, thanks so much for having me back.
And Manda's here.
Hey, good to be back.
All right. So we were just talking off air, but yeah, this is kind of a weird summer season. As far as the box office, it feels like there's a lot of contenders, but like not, I don't know. I just found this very tricky compared to other years. What do you think, Manda, about that?
No, I agree. I was going through the list and like there's so many massive blockbusters that you kind of don't know where they're going to land or like what the audience reception's going to be. And I think that's what like I struggled with too because
Yeah.
there's remakes, there's sequels that are happening and it's just if it's going to hit the same way, we don't know. That's why like I really struggled with this. I made like three different drafts.
Yeah. I did too.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, David? Are you excited about this upcoming season? What do you think?
I'm always excited about every upcoming season, but like the thing is a lot of the movies that feel like the obvious ones are also coming off the backs of things that didn't do so well within either the series or their remake of something or,
Yeah.
certain, whatever it is, it's something there where it hasn't been doing as well lately. And, unless you're something with a meme behind it, I don't know that it's going to necessarily be a huge box office draw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of Rachel's Reviews? Do you look forward to Family Movie Night, Female Film Critics panels, or the Talking Disney podcast? If so, please consider supporting the podcast by becoming a Patreon. As a patron, you get to access monthly events such as the watch-alongs and Q&As, where you get to talk to stars and find out the behind the scenes of the movie making industry. And you can pick what I review for Family Movie Night or even become a guest on the podcast. Podcasts and YouTube channels are expensive, and I really, really could use your help. I would so appreciate it. You also get to be a member of the Facebook group where we talk about all the films that we're seeing, and we have so much fun. Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies and select one of the Rachel's fan tiers. That's patreon.com/hallmarkies.
Well, let's dive into our honorable mentions. We each have five or bunch of honorable mentions. And I'll just go over mine and then you all can list yours and then we can talk about all of them. Well, so I have for my honorable mentions, I have The Bad Guys 2. DreamWorks is always tricky. You never know if it's going to be a Ruby Gillman or if it's going to be
It's true.
a big The Wild Robot did I think better than most people expected for the type of movie it is. Obviously the Shrek movies do very well. But this is a sequel. I just think it's a little bit tricky. So Bad Guys 2 I have, and then Karate Kid Legends I have as an honorable mention. Ballerina, I feel like that one's a really hard one to predict. F1, and I have the Smurfs movie as my five. I actually love Smurfs The Lost Village. I think it's way underrated. I think it's really beautiful, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. And so I'm curious what they're going to do with this. But Mondo, what are your honorable mentions?
Um, I'm like optimistic for romantic comedies, so I have The Materialists
Oh
up
yeah,
there. I don't know. I'm very excited
forgot
for
about
it.
that.
Yeah, tonally it seems different than Past Lives, and I think people were in an uproar considering it's her sophomore film, Celine Song.
Yeah,
But I'm banking on like an anyone but you type of success story for
that's a
this
good
one.
call. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like been my Twitter header for a while. So I was like, okay, it's a perfect opportunity to sell this one. Go watch it,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
so I can somewhat win. I have a little bit of horror in there. Final Destination, Bloodlines, I believe, like that
Could
could do
be.
well
It
too.
could.
And I also have The Karate Kid. I mean, off of like Cobra Kai love, I think
Yeah,
there's an audience for it too. So those are my three honorable
yeah.
mentions.
What about you, David? What are your honorables?
So I also had Ballerina, Karate Kid Legends, and The Bad Guys too. I think all three of those are very hard to predict, and all
Yes.
three of them should, by right, make something. But I guess we'll find out. The other two that I had are The Naked Gun, which is a big question
Nice.
mark. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
people are going nuts for the teaser, so
Yeah.
maybe it'll be bigger than I would have expected. So we'll see. And then I have Bring Her Back, the new horror movie from the director of
Ooh,
Talk to Me, which,
yeah.
Oh.
that could be something. But then again, it could also be one of those movies that just comes out and there's not a single advertisement for it. And then next thing you know, it's on streaming. So who knows?
Yeah. You never know with horror. I mean, that could be this year's Long Legs,
Sure.
or something like
True.
that.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, let's dive into our list. Number 10, I have Megan 2.0. This is maybe a risky, but the first one did really well. I think it made $95 million with like no promotion. I feel like most people really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And I don't know, I just feel like this could do well.
Yeah.
That's
Whether it
fair.
ends up in the top 10 or not, it's going to be the best movie of the year. So that's all I know for
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, that's already decided. We
Yeah.
know.
I love that.
uh, Mona, what about you? What's your number 10?
My heart is with Lindsay Lohan, and I really want Freakier Friday to do well. And I do think that especially for like our generation, like we grew up with it and we love the first one, that I do hope it is a success. The trailer played well in theaters too. I watched The Amateur was ahead of it. And I do think that this sequel is just going to be something fun and wholesome for the whole family. I think just to see them back on screen together again is what's going to draw audiences in. So I'm hoping that this is one of the sequels that surprises everyone and does well.
Yeah, I have Freakier Friday at 9,
Nice.
and it's a hard one to tell because I do kind of so like obviously lots of films have nostalgia for them, but there's also like a lot of films that I feel like Hollywood kind of overestimates their hive like around
Yeah.
them. Like
Yep.
I was thinking about it when they were doing the Notebook on Broadway, and I was like yes, that movie made a lot of money, but are there like people that like love it? And I'm sure yes there are, but I don't know enough to I wasn't surprised when that closed fairly quickly on Broadway because even though it had good things about it and people liked it, I haven't seen it. But
Mm.
I don't know, it's just like does it like yes, it has fans, that movie, people like it, but does it have like a hive that's gonna like,
Yeah.
you know what I
Right.
mean? Like be so excited about a sequel. I feel like The Parent Trap has a much bigger hive around it
Yeah.
than Freaky Friday.
I also think like even Princess Diaries has a bigger hive
Yes.
than Freaky
Sure.
Friday. But yeah, no, I totally get that. It's a hard one to call, but I think like the Lilo Renaissance on Netflix has kind of
Yeah.
boosted people wanting to watch her. But I'm
Yeah,
happy
I
you
can
have it
see
at
that.
9 too.
Yeah.
Great minds. We're good.
Um, yeah, I think it could be successful, and it seems like they're marketing it pretty well. It might be somewhat critic dependent. If it gets pretty good reviews, that
Mm.
might help it. Otherwise, people might just be like, I'll just wait till it gets on Disney Plus.
By the way, all this that you're talking about with it is exactly how I feel about Karate Kid Legends. I'm like,
Yeah,
is the
Yeah.
fan base big enough to actually show up and make it a hit, or is it just something that people want but they'll just wait for or
to
whatever?
be on Netflix.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fair too.
Yeah. I mean, at least that's an action-ish movie, though, which I feel like people are more likely to be like, I'll just wait till Disney Plus on a like comedy,
sure,
you
sure.
know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm very curious to see how Karate Kid Legends does, and it might be sort of critic dependent as well. Kind of like Freaker Friday. Whereas like Megan 2.0, I feel like like nobody's gonna care what the critics think about
Oh yeah.
that,
They're still gonna go. They'll go support
They're still gonna
that.
go.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I mean, it's like as big as Minecraft, but kind of in that way, that they don't care what they're going
No.
and they don't care. So, all right, let's see here. See, David, what did you have at 10?
Number 10 for me, Manda brought it up in her honorable mentions, Final
Mm.
Destination Bloodlines.
Nice.
I think people are super psyched about this one. Obviously, it's one of those, again, one of these like movies that hasn't had a sequel in forever,
Mm.
and whether or not people are actually going to show up is kind of hard to predict. But I do feel like people are really excited about this movie.
It was a
I,
good
w-
trailer. That
it's a
teaser with
good
the
trailer.
ice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was never particularly that into these movies, so like I'm not particularly that excited about it, but at the same time, I know everybody else is, and I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah, that was
That's
I
just
I sh-
ooh.
I gasped in the theater. Oh my
It looks
gosh.
good.
Yeah. So what's your number nine, Manda?
Oh, for number nine, I have Jurassic World Rebirth. I know,
Oh,
I know. It's really tough. It's really tough, but everyone really hates Dominion. So it can go one
yeah.
of two ways. People show up for Jonathan Bailey, Scarlett Johansson, and Mahershala Ali because it's like clean slate, and the trailer doesn't look too bad. Like it feels different. So I think based on like if you love the actors enough, I think that's what's gonna bring the audience in maybe, and like a clean slate would do it because I think that like Chris Pratt's fallen off entirely because of that franchise specifically. So I think that like a fresh start could boost it. I don't know. I think the Jonathan Bailey hive is just that's the top notch look out for this.
Yeah. What do you think, David? I mean, what's your number nine?
Well, my number nine is Megan 2.0.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great and it's going to do really well, but it's not going to be like at the top of the
Yeah.
charts here. But I will be bringing up Jurassic World Rebirth later, though.
Yes, I will
Nice.
as well.
Oh, so you're saying mine's too low? That's
Too
crazy.
low.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Those movies have never done poorly. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just hard to bet against a Jurassic movie. They have
yeah.
Yeah,
Make no
all
mistake, they're
hey,
terrible.
they're
They're so
terrible.
bad,
but
but
everyone goes.
everyone goes
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and like oddly enough, it feels like a long time. It hasn't been that long since
No.
the last one, but it feels like a long time to me. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, people are ready. Yeah, you'll see where I have it. But Mondo, what's your number eight?
I think this is gonna be a wild card, maybe. But I have How to Train Your Dragon because I know that the audience for that is massive. They love the franchise so much, and I do think that the reception for this trailer, this live action trailer, was unexpected for me too. I was like, whoa, people are actually wanting the live action. So it's a family film, and I
Yeah.
think it's a possibility that it could do well.
Yeah. Yeah, I have it higher, so it'll be interesting to see where it goes. What's your number eight?
I'm going with Elio for number eight here.
Oh,
Same.
These movies usually do well. I don't know if it stands out from the pack that much, but at the same time, it'll probably be fun.
Yeah, it's hard to bet against Pixar. Oh, they've had their recent. It's hard for so long they weren't even in theaters, but like they've had their bombs like Lightyear. But I I think this most recent trailer with the Queen music was pretty good because Pixar's kind of known for having bad trailers.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it's kind of a weird summer for animation.
No,
Like there's
yeah,
not
totally.
an
I
illumination
agree.
film. There's not,
Yeah,
I mean, it's just basically Smurfs and I mean there's Smurfs bad guys and Elio.
that's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Usually it's
totally.
jam-packed because the kids are out of school. We have
Yeah.
more animation. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are
So
leaving out the King of Kings. That could make a boatload too. Although, is that before our
that
cutoff?
comes out Easter.
Yeah, so
So
that's
it's
Yeah,
before our
this
before.
cutoff.
weekend. So before
Yeah, that could
I
still
didn't
be
mind it
raking it
actually.
in
I
though.
thought it was like for what it is, it's trying, for it's a specific audience.
Yeah,
King of
yeah.
Kings. It's not
Fair.
for everybody. Um, okay, so Anna, what's your number seven?
I have actually the only horror that's on my list, which is crazy considering that we mentioned Megan 2.0, but I'm not a fan of the first one, so I did not put it on the list, unfortunately. That could bite me in the butt later, but that's fine. I actually have 28 Years Later. I think with the whole controversy with 28 Days Later, I think having it is a sequel, correct? I've never seen
Yeah.
the first one. It is a sequel. I
Hmm.
do think that like that could do well and bring people to the theater. I think the cast is
Yeah,
stacked.
a good
Um,
trailer.
Good trailer. Just like everything around the conversation around it, I think would be like intriguing for audiences, and I do think that it's going to be the horror of the season.
I could
Yeah,
see that.
this would have been
Yeah.
my sixth honorable mention. I do think it's going to
Nice.
probably do pretty well. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My number 7 is where I have Thunderbolts.
me too.
Ooh.
I've liked the trailers. I
Whoa.
think it's like pretty fun. The banter looks fun to me. I mean, it certainly looks better than this Captain America we just had. And so, we'll see. But yeah, that's where I have it. Okay, so what is your number 6 then?
Yeah. At number 6, I have Lilo and Stitch, actually.
Yeah.
I think they're marketing it so perfectly, and like the trailer was fine. I think everyone's going just to see what Stitch is going to do at this point.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to bring in a lot of people, and also for those who aren't going to watch Mission Impossible the same day, they're going to go watch Lilo and Stitch. So it's going to be like I think that's going to filter into Lilo and Stitch versus like if Mission Impossible sold out, then they would go watch Lilo and Stitch too. So they have that opening weekend.
Yeah. Well, I have at 6. I have Mission Impossible at 6
Nice.
because they haven't done like amazing. Like
They
none of them have
haven't.
made like $1 billion. None of them have, but it is the final one, so it could overperform. I mean, it's hard because part one was competing against Barbenheimer. What are you going to
Yeah.
do? So it's hard to know. I am not emotionally attached to this franchise. I know Manda is, but like I enjoy it. I think they're fun, but I have no like emotional, like I'm not like, oh, it's almost over. Like that's just not me with these movies. But I
Yeah.
think it'll be entertaining and a nice spectacle. And it will help by the fact that it's going to be like heavy IMAX. People are want to go to the preferred screens,
Yeah.
those kinds of things for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I have it 6. What do you have at 6, David?
I've got How to Train Your Dragon. I think the fact that they already announced a sequel, another
Yeah.
Did they?
remake, live action remake of the sequel is crazy. But yeah, they must really think this is going to work really well. So
Well, I
Yeah.
have it pretty high. The response out of CinemaCon was stronger than I thought it would be. People that got to see it there. I mean, I don't know if they're people I 100% trust because they can be hype boys, but
sure.
but still, like I was surprised them saying it was like a lot of hyperbole. So, but I mean that I thought the trailer was absolutely terrible. I mean, shot for shot. Why would I even like it looked like it really did look like it was made in AI to me. It was like I don't know. I guess I just don't understand the desire people have to see animation in live action. I live in live action. I don't go to the
I
movies
I
to
live
I
in
go
live
to the
action.
movies to escape live action, you know? Like why would I want to see what I've already seen? Like it
It's
just doesn't make
yeah.
sense to me. Like why do people want realism so much? I want escapism. I don't want realism. I
I'm
don't
with you there.
understand that impulse
I will say, and
under
I'm
me.
not exactly excited for it either, but I will say there are dragons. So we don't have those. So,
I mean, it's
Yet.
fair. We don't have
Yet.
dragons, but I
we
just
have big lizards, but not dragons.
And dire wolves are now not
Oh yeah.
extinct anymore, so we
Yeah.
don't have dragons yet.
Yeah.
but
Soon.
it's just like
Soon.
I just to me it's strange. Like if I was given the choice of you can experience art or you can experience realism, which one do you want? And so many people I feel like pick realism when I
I
would pick
do.
art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree
I'm
with
with you.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't make it make sense, people.
Make-
But um, so what do you have at 5?
I actually have the Thunderbolts at 5.
Okay.
I do think that the trailers have been a lot of fun, and I think they're really selling the camaraderie with the group. Having Sebastian Stan as Bucky kind of like lead them, and have that banter with Yelena, like Florence Pugh also coming back into this. I think that it's going to be a hit. I think no one expects it to be a hit. But I do think that people are loving it more and they've completely forgotten about Brave New World. I mean, even placing Sebastian Stan at the end of Brave New World kind of fueled that as well. So yeah, I think the conversation online about it is gonna garner it to do well, and it's in my top five for that for
The
sure.
only thing I remember about Brave New World is Danny Ramirez. I love him. He's so
He's
good.
so
Oh,
fun. I
yeah.
love him so much too.
Yeah, he was
Just
so
kidding.
good. Okay, my number five is where I have Fantastic Four. It's
Very
hard to
nice.
know this one. It's hard to know which Marvel movie will do better. There's so much hype around this. People, I do feel like it's maybe a little bit rating dependent, like depending on what kind of reviews it gets, if it starts to build
Yeah.
the hype. But yeah, I don't know that. So I have that at five. Uh, Dave, what do you have at five?
That's where I have Lilo and Stitch.
Hey.
I should also admit that I've never seen Lilo and Stitch. I know that's crazy, but so maybe I'll just watch that. I'll watch the
Yeah.
Do it.
original.
It made me cry. I watched it like two
Yeah.
weeks ago when the trailer dropped. I'm like, oh my God, I missed this version of Disney. I just
So you
missed those.
never seen it before either?
No, I've watched it. I'm just saying, like, it's just I haven't seen it
Oh
since I was a
yeah.
kid, and it hits so much different as an adult. So I think
Mhm.
you'd love it, David, honestly.
Right on, right on.
I like it. I don't love it. I like the spirit of family, the heart, soul. I love the animation,
Mhm.
especially the watercolor feel. I love all the Hawaii-ness of it. So I love Hawaii. I love the fact that Lilo is such a weird little girl. Like
Yeah.
she's like I think that is really charming. Um, I I feel like they go a little too far with especially once their house is blown up. I'm just like, oh come on, what else could possibly happen to these people? Like, give them a break. It just becomes a little too much for me. And so I don't know. Oddly enough, I wish it was like a little more joyful. It's a little, I don't
That's
know,
fair.
but I do like it and I appreciate it. You'll see where I have it, but I have Superman at number four. Feel like that's really hard to predict how this will
Me
do, but
too.
Superman movies actually haven't done that well, like
No,
at the
No.
box office. Whether Superman Returns, Batman v Superman, I mean, even like Man of Steel did pretty good, but not like amazing. It's
Yeah.
not like it won got $1 billion or anything. So obviously, like Superman is less profitable than Batman. That's obvious. We know that. So I do think this is somewhat ratings review dependent. If people love it, if it's getting a lot of hype, then
just just don't look at the audience score because we know a certain segment
yeah,
of the
sure.
internet is going to review bomb it.
Oh
So,
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the trailer. I thought it was nostalgic and uh
It hit.
yeah, I liked
It
it.
did.
Personally, I
So
didn't think it looked that good, but I'm not one of those fanboys, so I'll give it a chance. I like everything else James Gunn's done, so
yeah.
Yeah. My issue was that like I watched the trailer on my phone as it wasn't intended to be watched and I
Oh
didn't feel anything at all. I was like, "Oh, this kind of feels wonky. It doesn't look that good." And then I watched it on like the big screen. I'm like, and I got chills watching it. I'm like, "Whoa, what a shift." So, I don't know. I'm kind of apprehensive about that. That's also in my fourth spot. And I
uh-huh.
do think that whether it's a group of people that are boycotting it or don't want to see it, I still think they're going to go watch it just to
Yeah.
see what the possibility of it is. I do think because of the long history of controversy with DC Studios and with Superman specifically, and what they've butchered the character like over for Henry Cavill, like they butchered what like how to use him. I think that this is gonna get
Yeah.
people in seats for sure, and it'll surprise everyone, I think.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, and they have so much motivation to make this good.
Yeah.
And obviously James Gunn has made good movies in the past. He knows the formulas that work. And so, I mean, because so much is riding on this movie. They'll either overthink it and it will be disappointing,
Yeah.
or they'll nail it. It's we'll see. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with it. Let's see. Manda, do you have your four?
Four was Superman for me as well.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
placed it there, yeah.
Yeah. What's your 4, David?
Jurassic World Rebirth.
Ooh.
Like I said earlier, these movies they make money whether or not they're good, and
Yeah.
I don't think as bad as the last one is will have any effect on people
No.
showing up for this. So, that being said, I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks, okay. I think most of them
Yeah.
have looked good in the trailers. So, I'll give it a chance. I'm always down for dinosaurs.
They always get me excited, these trailers. I
I
mean,
know.
I have to remind myself, no, most of them have sucked. Don't get
Yeah.
excited. Um, but they really do. They always, I'm like, oh, this will be the one that they're
I
finally
agree.
getting. Because I love the original so much.
Oh yeah.
And it's been just broken hearts all along the way because I
Is there
haven't
any
liked any.
series that the first one is literally one of the best movies of all time and all the rest of them are just bad as the Jurassic series? It's just like
Yeah, not many. I
Yeah,
mean,
crazy.
not many.
you could say something like Jaws
Yes,
or
yeah.
Yeah.
some of those horror, have had
I'd
movies have
s-
had
I'd
horrible.
say Halloween maybe would come
Halloween.
close.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. Although they've got their fans, all the other Halloween movies. So,
Yeah. True.
But yeah, it's definitely one of the most depressing franchises. And
yeah.
they can
Yeah.
just print money. And and the thing that's frustrating to me is maybe I'm just naive, but I feel like the solution is like really simple. Instead of like convoluted cricket stories or weaponizing dinosaurs, ridiculous. Just make it a classic monster movie.
Yeah.
What I
Yeah.
would do is I would time warp it back. Like there's no reason why it has to be a continuing on. You could set it at any time.
It's true.
So have it be uh where before have it be before Jurassic World, all that stuff. Have a ship of people crash land onto Nesma Island, whatever it's called. And then they spend the movie like trying to get help and trying to escape the dinosaurs. Like that would
Yeah.
be really fun.
It
Like
would be
it's not,
great.
is that
Yeah,
so simple?
it is. Like they can't do that. They can't
Yeah.
do that. It's
They
so
can't.
simple that they can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/hallmarkies and get on your way to being your best self. Anyone who listens to this podcast knows that I am a big advocate for mental health care and getting the help you need for your life. Let's talk numbers. Traditional in-person therapy can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 per session, which adds up fast. But with BetterHelp online therapy, you can save on average of up to 50% per session. I know, especially when I was going through a tough time in my late 20s, having somebody to talk to about what I was experiencing and to help me to be able to process it was very, very, very helpful. And that's what you can benefit from with BetterHelp. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life, plus switch therapists at any time. So visit betterhelp.com/hallmarkies today to get 10% off your first month. Betterhelp.com/hallmarkies. Okay, so my number 3 is actually Where I Have Lilo and Stitch. And this seems high, but Lilo and Stitch is like really popular. I mean, you go to Disneyland and Stitch is everywhere on like 80% of memorabilia. That and Nightmare Before Christmas are like huge. And and so it's actually like a pretty popular IP.
Yeah.
And so if this movie is like watchable, which the director, Dean Fleischer Camp, did Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, which of course I love and adore. So he has a track record of making cute movies with creatures. So I'm hoping, of course, I mean, I hate these remakes so much, but I'm hopeful that it will be watchable. And I think if it is watchable, I think it will do very, very well.
I think so too.
Yep.
So yeah, it's interesting. What do you have at three, Manda?
I have Fantastic Four First Steps. I do think that it's going to do better than Thunderbolts just because of how different it looks. And we've
Novelty.
waited, novelty. We've waited such a long time for the original family. And I think that the casting is superb. Like you can just look at them and you feel the characters. And you have very popular people. You have Pedro Pascal, and then you also like Vanessa Kirby was also in the Mission Impossible films to build her up like too. And then Joseph Quinn is a star; everyone loves him. And then Ibon Masbakrak from like The Bear. I mean, when they put the thing in the kitchen, I was like, you guys are so smart. Like already selling that in the trailer. I'm like, that's just perfect. Um, and I think that people loved like WandaVision too, so that's getting people in seats. But yeah,
What
I
does it
do.
have to do with WandaVision?
It's the same director, isn't it? Matt.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah, it's the
realize
same
that.
director, so it's just that thread.
Oh,
Because they WandaVision did so well, they're like, okay, let's see what else he can do, and then an F4 was announced. So I think that that's another step too, in that case, and it's ahead of Doomsday. So that's also going to get people in seats compared to other Marvel movies. But yeah, I think it's going to do very well.
well, and I think that Feige and the team there is highly motivated to make this a success. That doesn't mean it will be, but
Yeah,
if this bombs and people don't like it, it'll be a big problem for them.
Oh yeah.
wonder.
So I think they're really trying. But what do you have at three, David?
I've got Mission Impossible. I'm very hopeful. Mondo was my guest on the last one, my piecing it together episode, and I didn't love the last one. Like I thought it was a
Mm.
bit of a step back, and I think that the two-parter thing really kind of hurt it. And so I really hope this is a step back towards how great the three in a row, four in a row, really that they had before that were.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Tom Cruise can get people out to the theater. I just think, honestly, I think the biggest thing that hurt the last one was the whole two-parter thing. And so
Yeah.
now we're getting to the end, and I think people will show back up. I hope so.
Well, and Barbenheimer. I mean, it had
That really did hurt.
they
Yeah.
That
could have had
killed it.
it could
Yeah.
have been a perfect movie and it wouldn't have mattered. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
average human being is just not going to see three movies in the course of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, that was all that could be expected of the average human is to see, two very long movies, and
Yeah.
talk
It
about
makes me
them.
laugh because like even this was originally slated for July. Mission Impossible final, like the final
Oh,
one.
really?
And but he's like, oh, if Nolan drops another movie, he's like, no, 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 let's move it to May, guys, let's move it to May. And I know that he did that for sure. He moved it, or else July's like prime time for like Tom Cruise. That's what he's like said. But I guess he saw the success of Top Gun Maverick, and he's like, you know what? Let's shift gears and
Let's move it up.
let's move it
Yeah.
up. So it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Well, my number two is where I have How to Train Your Dragon. I
Ooh.
just think it's going to make a ton of money and I'm going to be depressed. But, but, it is what it is. I mean, who knows? Maybe I like Little Mermaid more than I expected. Maybe somehow this will win me over, but it just looked very shot for shotty, samey to me. And I
Mm.
would just rather watch the animated film. I don't need to watch this, whatever this is. But I think it's going to make a ton of money. I think it's, especially with that hype out of CinemaCon, like it just said to me, like there's going to be enough people that are going to be like hyping this thing, and I just think it's going to do really well. So we'll see.
We will.
Mana, what do you have at two?
I actually have F1 at two.
Oh,
I think they're marketing it well. I think that having Joseph Kosinski's name everywhere as the guy who did Top Gun Maverick is selling them. And I do think that racing, like NASCAR, F1's like very, very popular internationally. So I do think that it's going to bring people in and surprise everyone, like a Top Gun Maverick. I think it is going to surprise everyone. So we'll
it
see
will
where that
be.
goes.
It'll be interesting to see if it ends up being rated R or PG-13.
That's the other thing
It
too.
hasn't been rated yet. And I think that will make a big difference.
Yeah.
But it's tricky because like Gran Turismo, I enjoyed. I know David did not, but I enjoyed it. And that had like the video game tie, and that thing did not do well.
Yeah.
And so
That's
it's
true.
interesting to see will this racing movie will it hit?
Yeah, I think I'm underestimating this one. It's I'll just say right now it's not even on my list, and it wasn't in my honorable mentions either. But yeah, it could be huge with the director and the star and everything. This definitely could be a big deal. And shot partially here in Las Vegas, by the way.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Good. All right. Let's see, David, what's your number two?
Number two is Superman. Like we said earlier, I mean, Superman movies have not traditionally done as well as you would think, but I do think there's enough hype around this and everything. And even with any kind of, internet nerd backlash or whatever, I think it's going to do huge numbers. So we will see what happens, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. Well, my number one, I think it's Jurassic World Rebirth. I think that's the only movie out of all
Wow.
these that's going to make over $1 billion.
It's a
Wow.
very, very good
They've all
possibility.
made $1 billion.
It could happen. I'm not knocking you.
Yeah.
Could
I
happen.
almost put it higher on my list. I had it at 4, but I almost put it higher on my list because you're right. Like these movies just keep winning. No matter how
Yeah.
bad they are, they keep winning.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I just don't think, I think almost nobody is going to like hold the last one, hold this one responsible for the last one.
Mm,
This is just because this is like a new cast. It just feels like it feels like a reboot.
yeah.
So I don't think it'll be very good, but who knows? And but I think it's going to make a boatload of money.
The only thing I'm concerned about with that one is placement because it's coming after Superman and it's coming after Fantastic Four, all in July. That's
Uh,
the only thing that I'm concerned about if it's gonna actually do well or not
is it
based
after?
on that.
Because it's coming out July
Or it's in the
2nd.
middle. Is it before?
July 2nd. So when
Oh, I
is
got the dates mixed up.
Superman?
Never mind.
Oh yeah, Superman's the 11th,
And then Fantastic Four,
and then
right?
Fantastic
Sorry,
Four.
sorry. I thought it was at the tail end. It's at the beginning.
At
That's
the
what it was.
beginning.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's Superman July 11th,
Well,
Fantastic
it is going to
July
have to fight off Megan
25th.
2.0's second week. So that's.
Oh, it's in between. Oh, that's rough. That is rough, actually. Oh man.
Let's see. When does the How to Train Your Dragon is June, right?
I think so.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
13th, June 13th.
But we do have banger after banger realistically. Like
Yeah.
from June onwards, sorry, the end of May onwards, we have banger after banger.
Yeah.
If we want to
It's
say
gonna
that
be fun.
Thunderbolts is a banger. I'm excited.
The
Like
theaters need it. They
Yeah.
really, really do.
I'm
They
gonna
do.
live there.
Yeah.
And I just
And-
transferred from a different like location, so I'm like 5 minutes
Oh, you
away from the
did?
theater now. So I'm like, yeah.
Well, and it's also going to be nice for the theaters that almost every single movie on my list, except for Freaker Friday and I don't know about Megan or Elio, but a bunch of 'em on my list are all going to be premium format.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
that will
same.
help too.
For sure.
That people want to see these movies on the big screen.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Merch Store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
Mata, what is your number one?
shocker that I have Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning at number one.
Yeah.
I do think because it's a send-off that like it is Tom Cruise, people who do have an attachment to the franchise like I do, like it's going to be a big deal, I think. And I hope that they build it up a bit more because the marketing hasn't been the strongest right now. What they
Mhm.
should have done was re-release all the Mission Impossible films ahead of the
Yeah,
Final
Yes.
that's
Reckoning.
true.
I don't know why Paramount didn't do that. It would have made so much money and excite even like new fans to actually go to the theater and watch the first one for the first time. Like that's what I've been itching for, and they didn't do that, which is a
That
missed
is weird.
opportunity. Yeah, it was very weird. I didn't understand. We were like begging them. We were begging. I was messaging Paramount. I'm like, can you please just put it in theaters? And they were doing promo for it. Um, but they were just sending a link to like Apple or whatever to have them like or the streaming service, sorry, Paramount Plus to go watch it. And I'm like, no one wants,
Lame.
let's not do that. Like
At the very
I like
least, there should be a like a Dead Reckoning
there
Yeah, at the
should be a
very
going
least.
on.
re-release. I don't know if they're
Yeah.
gonna start doing that in May, but there's also not enough weeks for them to do it before the release date either. So that was a
Huh.
missed opportunity,
Yeah, that
but
is.
I
I
am
agree.
banking on the fact that it is the last one and it better be the last one. I will get so mad at them if they continue this without Tom Cruise. Like it cannot be done without Tom Cruise. But yeah, I'm hoping.
I'm not as I would be because I loved the original show.
Mhm.
So like I can see a world where I would be okay with it not having Tom Cruise because the original show was more about the team
Mhm.
and each team member had like their role. There was one person who did like the makeup, there was a sexy woman, there was like they all had their part to play in the cases that they were given. And so I could see a reboot in a couple of years if it was more of that ensemble feel from the show. But yeah, I agree. If there's some kind of lame cliffhanger and it's like, oh, psych, where it's not really the end, that would be super lame.
I'd be
Yeah.
But
so mad.
we'll see.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder, as far as the marketing, if they kind of overlearned the lessons from the last one, because one of the problems of the last one is that most of the aha moments, because of the pandemic, because of everything that happened, they'd shown everybody. Like
Yeah.
we'd
Yeah,
all seen the motorcycle,
they
stunt.
did.
We'd all seen the train. We'd all seen like most of these moments we'd all seen. So when you finally go to the theater, it's like just not as exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're kind of like, oh, we can't show them very much.
I hope so. I hope that we're going to be wowed in IMAX and just
Yeah.
get all kinds of new stuff that is not in the trailers. And it doesn't seem like they're showing too much in the trailers this time. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
David, what's your number one?
So I feel like I've sounded negative this whole time, but I really just don't know the appeal of this at all. This is not a movie for me at all, but it's the Fantastic Four First Steps.
Wow.
I have no connection to this property whatsoever.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and I watched this trailer. I'm just like, okay, sure, whatever. But it seems like everybody is super excited about this. So maybe I'm just a little too online and I'm just seeing the reactions on the Twitters and the Facebooks and all that stuff. But I feel like this is everybody's number one most
Yeah.
anticipated movie. So
Wow.
It
Nice.
I think the thing that it has going for it is that not only are there a lot of people that love it and love the comics, and we haven't had a good movie, which could be, and it could hurt it, the fact people are like Fantastic Four, but it also is a movie that could like demographically bring in a ton of people
yeah,
in the sense of like you've got younger characters, teenage characters,
Yeah.
kids. Like it could be like a family film, a film that appeals to women, a film that appeals to men. Like it's one of those like checking all of the boxes. It could be if it's good. And I like I said, I think they're highly motivated to make this
They
good.
have to. They
Yeah.
have to. This literally has to be one of the best of all time, or
Yeah.
else they have been tanking for at least, I'd say, 2.5 years now with every project. There's been an
It-
issue.
yeah, because even if Thunderbolts is good and we like it,
Like passable,
I
yeah.
still think that this one has to be good. Like so much of the future of Marvel MCU. And I think they know that. That's why they did that whole chair stunt.
Yeah.
They know that.
They know
And
that they have us in the palm of their hands still. It's just how are they going to keep us interested, I think.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because with F4, the reason why everyone's excited is because like they have the rights back, and it's similar to the X-Men where they have the rights back. So
Mhm.
we knew that 2025 would be the year that we'd get to see these characters. So that's the thing where they're banking on the like what the original characters were that brought us in, because Fantastic
Yeah.
Four was one of the first movies and X-Men were one of the first movies. So if those don't hit as they should, then we got a problem for the next like decade over there at Marvel for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I think that shoot, I just lost my train of thought. Um, do you think that there's going to be a surprise person in Fantastic Four that we're not expecting?
1000%.
Yeah.
1000%. There's always going to be like a cameo. There's definitely going to be a surprise, multiple surprises. People are already theorizing if Robert Downey Jr. is going to show up at the end of Fantastic Four, obviously considering the character, like the villain that he's playing in Doomsday. So it's like, we don't know where the story's going to go, or if it's going to be like a multiverse type of situation and they're not even canon in what they currently have, which is also going to annoy me because I cannot stand this multiverse. I cannot do it
Lame.
anymore. I'm like, this is cop out on cop out. And then when they
Uh-huh.
announced the chairs, I'm like, who are you bringing back? What are you doing? I'm happy that I get to see these characters again, these mutants again, but like, why are we not starting from scratch here?
Well,
So,
it used to be the MCU kind of formula that when they were introducing a new character, they would have an older character like that we all knew kind of help them in their movie,
yeah,
So, we had Nick Fury and Captain Marvel, we had, a bunch of different things like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
yeah.
that used to be kind of the thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get somebody in this movie like Shang-Chi or, someone like that that's
Oh,
kind of the welcome the Fantastic Four into. I mean, I guess what time period is? Do you know
we
what
don't know.
time?
I have no
We don't
idea.
know. So
I
it would have
couldn't
to be
tell you the
it would have
placement.
to be somebody that worked in the timeline, I guess, unless they went multiversy. But anyway,
Yeah.
that I they could do that, and that would be interesting and sort of fun. But who knows? We will see what it is. But it's gonna be. I felt like last year was such a disappointment in studio filmmaking, in my opinion. There were very few hits for me.
Yep.
So this year, we'll see if it's better.
Fingers crossed.
Hope so.
Can't get worse than last year.
I don't know. Yeah.
Like,
So anyway, there we go. Well, let's go over our list. So I have my top 10. I have Jurassic World Rebirth, How to Train Your Dragon, Lilo and Stitch, Superman, The Fantastic Four, First Steps, Mission Impossible 8, Thunderbolts, Elio, Freakier Friday, and Megan 2.0. What's your 10, Manda?
so in 10th spot, I have Freakier Friday. Ninth, I have Jurassic World Rebirth. Eighth, I have How to Train Your Dragon. Seventh, I have 28 Years Later. Sixth, I have Lilo and Stitch. Fifth, I have The Thunderbolts. Fourth, I have Superman. Three, I have Fantastic Four First Steps. In second spot, I have F1. And then, of course, number one spots, I have Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
David, what's your top 10?
So my number 10 was Final Destination Bloodlines, 9 was Megan 2.0, 8 is Elio, 7 Thunderbolts, 6 How to Train Your Dragon, 5 Lilo and Stitch, 4 Jurassic World Rebirth, 3 Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, 2 Superman, and number 1 Fantastic Four: The First Steps.
Ah, yes.
Hey,
Okay, so I
love it.
asked on Twitter, and I think I kind of skewed the responses because I put in 4 pictures just as inspiration. I didn't mean to imply that people could only pick from those 4, but I think some of them did. But because I put my top 4 and so pictures, so
Like,
I
that's
think.
not how the game is played, guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, so these responses might be a little skewed. But Terry says Lilo and Stitch is going to make money, I think. Probably Superman, but I bet the new Jurassic Park movie makes it into top 5. My nephew is all amped for it. He's ranked all the movies, including the cartoon shows. Then Peter Saunders, he says, also Universal seems convinced that How to Train Your Dragon will be even bigger than Lilo and Stitch. Aaron Falvo says Lilo and Stitch and Jurassic World should do well too. I feel like Mission Impossible might be the odd man out. I really see a scenario where Lilo and Stitch does better than Mission Impossible Memorial Day weekend because Disney has been doing a great job on marketing it. Yeah. And he also says Superman. I was working at local con this weekend and there was a lot of people wearing Superman merch for this film. A lot of Artist Alley stuff featuring crypto. I'm really getting Batman '89 buzz vibes in terms of the hype building around it. David Davidson, he says probably Lilo and Stitch live action, unfortunately.
Damn.
Let's see. Wizard of Widgets says my money's on Jurassic World Rebirth. Lilo and Stitch will also make a big splash. Fantastic Beast says Lilo and Stitch Jurassic will hit $1 billion. The other two will disappoint. That is my box office prediction. Tom Source says How to Train Your Dragon and probably Lilo and Stitch. Jack Benner's movie review says I wouldn't be surprised if Jurassic World Rebirth makes $1 billion like the previous films, but I might predict either Superman or Fantastic Four to top the box office. Adam Daly says something is telling me Lilo and Stitch, but I don't feel good about it.
But I don't
feel... Mike K says all things being equal, Jurassic World. If reviews are overwhelmingly positive, Superman. If more people show up because it's the final film, Mission Impossible. To tell you the truth, this summer can go in any direction. There's no real way to know until the 11th hour. So there we go. True. That's a bunch of them. But yeah, a lot of people had thoughts on that one. There were a lot of responses.
That's exciting though. Like we have no idea where it's gonna go. Like that's gonna be interesting. And I think that like the three of us knowing, because we do this show often, it's the fact that we're gonna keep an eye on the box office and probably tell each other.
Yeah.
Like, guys, look what happened. Because it was just so funny. Because what was it last year? It was the whole Mufasa thing with you, David. I was dying.
Yeah.
So
by the way,
great.
it keeps making money.
That's true.
At this point, it might be even higher. So
people love those tiger lion love stories.
Yeah, they do.
The song
did well.
It. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, the brother song did well.
Ridiculous movie.
Oh yeah.
So ridiculous.
Very good. Well, let us know what you think. What are your top 10 predictions? Put in the comments or on Twitter. Let us know. And thank you to both of you for doing this. It's always a blast. Really look forward to it. And yeah, at least it gives you something to be positive about. Most of these movies are terrible. At least you can be like, oh, look at the box office.
Yeah. And be surprised. And you're like, hey.
I mean, yeah, because last year, nobody expected Inside Out to make that much.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
Like,
incredible.
At all.
So there we go. And Manda, where can people find you?
You guys can always follow me over at AMXND Reviews on Twitter and Blue Sky and Letterboxd. You can check out my website, candidxcinema.com, and you can check out my Instagram, Amanda Garaji.
Great. And David, what about you?
You can check out Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow me on social media at Piecing Pod. We got a bunch of live shows coming up. Also, last time we did this, I had a new The Pup Pups album, an album of songs about my pets. Well, we already have another one coming out. It's called Another One Already, but You Just Had One. And it'll be out in May. Hopefully, it'll be another hit of the summer.
Yeah, there we go.
Very
good. We'll put all that info in the description. People check it out. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews for the podcast. That really helps us a lot. And you can follow me, Rachel's Reviews, all over the place, and a Hallmarkies podcast. And check out the Patreon. That is the biggest way you can support what we're doing. And I try to make it really worth your while with Q&As and Patreon events and bonus material. So please check out the Patreon. And then we have the merch store with lots of fun movie-inspired merch. So check that out. And thanks so much to both of you. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.